Hello and welcome to the midweek edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. Today on the program, oil marketers insist that petrol should sell for 51 naira per litre. Lagos to seize property used by the kidnappers. And joining me today are Gbenga Onitilo, Tony Waje, Ganiyu Balogun. Journalist Hangout begins now. On May 1 this year, the federal government liberalized the downstream sector of the petroleum industry and raised the pump prices of petrol from 86.5 per litre to between 135 and 145 per litre. This gave the oil marketers the freedom to import the product and sell at any price, not more than 145 naira. But they said that due to the continuous scarcity of foreign exchange to finance the importation of petrol, the price may top the official price of 145 naira. However, the GMD of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Dr. Maikanti Bono, after a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari, told some journalists that he had not been directed to increase the pump price, saying Petroleum Product Pricing Regulatory Agency, that's PPPRA, is the only body empowered to fix petrol prices. Even with the assurance from the GMD, oil marketers have insisted that the products ought to be sold at 150 naira 87 kobo, 151 naira 87 kobo, due to the current unfavorable ex-depot price of the commodity. Where do we go from here? Gbenga, it's bad enough that we are buying between 140 naira to 145 naira. And let me tell you the effects in, a mega city like Lagos. You've had vehicular movement. They've reduced substantially around Lagos, so you hardly find traffic jams. And when we asked the road safety people, they said vehicular movement had been reduced substantially. So if you don't have to go out, or if you'll be using two vehicles, you and your family, you have to just settle for one, and you go out when it's extremely necessary. That is at 145. Now these marketers, they are talking about forex and they're talking about 151.87 kobo. Can you please tell what this is about?
It will be sad for us to label the marketers as the devils here. They are business people, and the government has established something that this market has been liberalized. And if you are saying the market has been liberalized, and we keep talking about market forces, the question you begin to ask yourself is, how do you control the price of a commodity that you don't even produce? We don't produce this commodity. Also, you don't even control the fluctuation of the currency because of the kind of mono economy that we run, and an issue of our depleting reserve as well. Those are key indices you also have to look at. Now, the marketers are claiming that ex-depot price should be 151.87, looking at all the other costs of logistics, about 18.6.
But Gbenga, they told us that if subsidy is removed, all will be well.
But
That's the
Ayo,
impression
I will put
that
it to
we're giving.
Ayo, I will put it. No, you still have to look at the benchmark of oil in the international market. One, you have to look at the forex itself. You have to look at the rates of exchange. Plays a critical factor here. Looking at it also that you import this thing, you don't produce it, so you don't have control over pricing. Then you're also looking at FX scarcity.
An average man on the streets does not understand this technical thing you're telling us.
Well,
this will affect the prices of tomato.
It affects the price.
Already they are frustrated.
Our market is driven, everything in Nigeria is driven by the price of petrol. From the farmer in Lokoja or wherever they are, they move their produce from one place to another. The logistics is affected by the price of petrol. So now we are saying we have liberalized the market. And we are saying we have removed subsidy, but I doubt that we have removed subsidy, because how will you the same price you are selling petrol in Lagos? Is it the same price you will sell it in Sokoto?
In Maiduguri.
So in Maiduguri. So somewhere somebody is not telling us the truth. This commodity is still being subsidized. You cannot have a price fixing regime on a commodity
So if you sell it 145 in Lagos, and you transport
are you telling me the transport
Maiduguri
cost for Maiduguri is the same thing? Or in Katsina, are you saying the same thing? So one way or the other, we are still not truthful and sincere with ourselves with this pricing of this commodity. Which brings to bear, this is still not a permanent solution. And the way it's going, as the FX pricing keeps going up, definitely it's going to impact on this. It's going to impact on this. So how do you, look, government is trying to control everything. In a free market, you do more of regulation. You don't fully control. Fine, there's some level of control government should have, but not controlling a commodity that you don't have control, you are not producing. You're not producing this commodity. You import into the country. And you still have to search for excess what? Because if you look at our import bill, for example, I think about 45% of it, the pressure on the naira is majorly on petroleum products. Is what about 45%. The FX in the demand is 45% of it, and now you have a short supply in the market, which puts more pressure even on the black market that doesn't even have enough resource. And we have not even addressed the issue of enough supply within the market, even though we have said we are floating a currency. But the thing is, the players are not even coming to the market because we have instability in terms of FX policy and monetary policy. So it's a real critical issue. We need to really answer this question. If the GMD of NNPC is saying, I've not received instruction.
That's,
it's very, you have not received instruction.
It's another thing to dispel something outrightly that no, there's no such thing.
So which means government is still controlling the price of a commodity that you don't produce.
I'm paying the difference.
And you're paying the difference. So you are still subsidizing. So we need to really be frank with ourselves. So if you fully want to liberalize this market, fully liberalize it all over the world. The price of even...
So does liberalization, does it have to do with the increase in price? Then it might be increased. It might go up.
We have to be careful when we talk liberalization in a market like Nigeria where you have a mono economy. When you must place some level of command and control in a country like Nigeria. If you leave it to the market forces, who are the cabals,
you force out of the market.
You are going to force. Nigerians are going to be crying overnight if you leave it to that. But the thing is this: the people doing the command and control, they don't even understand the dynamics or the cost of production or the issue of imports, because there are a lot of things you still have to resolve. We have shut down FDI from the country. We have shut down FPI. Our JP Morgan index, we have been shut out of it. So there are a lot of other dynamics that should aid this issue of oil pricing. It's not just going to be a singular thing that you just take on its own and you think it will be addressed by just fixing pricing. So the problem we have is an holistic problem. It's multi-layered. So it's beyond just the pricing of petroleum product. It's majorly an economic issue. Let me tell you something. No matter what the CBN governor does, nothing is going to really happen until we have a strong fiscal policy that helps to enhance whatever the CBN governor is doing. Because if you are not earning money, how will you have enough resource in terms of FX to be able to source for petroleum products in the market? So it's a real tall order. It's beyond the CBN governor.
I'll come back to you. I'll still come back to you on this. Gani Kayode Balogun Jr. What we are looking here is a situation that is getting out of hand. We are dealing with an economy that you have double-digit inflation, and we are dealing with something we've not seen in the last 10 years. As at the last time we checked, I think it's 16.5% as in our inflation.
Worse in how many years?
Worse in...
the inflation in Nigeria is about 70%. On paper, it's about 16%. Because the way you measure inflation basically is about market elements. How much does tomato cost? How much do you buy rice? How much do you buy gari? Those are the determinants of level of inflation. Not what the CBN is telling us. But having said that, we have to realize two things. This government inherited a bad job, and they made a worse job of it. The first problem we had with the money was the moment they decided that they are not going to allow people to take money out of the country or bring them into the country. All over the world, countries like ours, mono-economic countries based solely on one product, rely on their expatriate population to drive the forex market. Yeah. The moment the government decided they're going to be holistic, or they're going to show some level of patriotism, whatever that means, we ran into this problem. Money is not coming in from other sources.
Airlines are
We are
leaving
not
the country.
producing anything. Nigeria is a zero producing country, and zero is in capital letters. And so we have to be extremely careful whether there's no solution in sight. No. And these people are not.
We are not producing anything though. We still
My
do
brother,
tomatoes.
we are a monocultural, a monoproduct.
You have a huge trade deficit.
We are not producing anything. Things you think we are producing cannot be said on national television. But we are not producing anything. The oil we produce, you know the price. We import toothpick. We import shirts. We import socks. Minister said in 2 years we'll be doing pencils. So we produce nothing. There's no value to add to our naira for it to grow. And that's my fear. I told somebody on another station, I said, look, I'm looking at 1,000 naira to the dollar in the next 3 months. Because the money is simply not there.
Oh no, let's go.
We are going on the path of Venezuela the way we're going.
It's simply not there.
We're going on the path of Venezuela.
It's not about prayer.
It's not about prayer and fasting.
No, go and fast.
When you set up a
days.
trend, you just must find yourself there.
We've missed the road at that point. Because normally most countries will value and guide jealously their expert community. Those people are bro who send money home. They will guide them, they will
Because
protect
we are
them.
even stopped.
Because that's where 50% of our money is supposed to come from. All over the world. Venezuela, Mexico, even Saudi Arabia. It's the expatriates that fuel the local economy when you are monoproduct.
The FPI, the FDI.
There's nothing you can do.
That's
But the government in its wisdom, in its 19th century wisdom, decided that 21st century needed the same level of control that we cannot control. So nobody's controlling the controllers.
Tony, this cannot be all about doomsday prophecy. What can we do to salvage the situation?
What can we do to salvage the situation? I can see. Look at it today. Just look at it this way. When when the pump price was adjusted recently, government said they have deregulated the oil sector. But we know you cannot deregulate and at the same time regulate. You can't control market prices. There are certain things, we've said it here many times. There are certain things that government ought to have done, which they didn't do. Like for instance, building refineries. Fixing our refineries first. They didn't do those things.
You don't build refineries.
No, you don't build. We can't be saying we can't. We don't say
This
that.
administration
What steps have you taken so far?
We've been saying that
It's
all
1
the
year
time, and
after.
we're giving
What
them
steps have we
opportunities not to
taken?
do so.
It's 1 year after.
We can
So
do it in a day.
countries are
Ayo,
built
Dangote
Ayo,
refinery
hold
is
on.
on the
Why-
pipeline.
Hold on. We can. That's a
Dangote
private
is not
sector
setting
driven.
up
Is that
for
Dangote
Nigeria.
is not Nigerian
He's a
government.
businessman.
We should check
Stop bringing
Dangote out of
Dangote
this
into
thing.
the mix.
See, Ayo.
Can
At
we
least if you cannot ask
afford,
Ayo,
can we afford the financial power
Ayo.
to put our money
We can.
in a refinery right now?
Yeah, we can.
Let's be
We
realistic.
can.
How much
Ayo,
do
in
we
is Nigeria
pay
that
to
broke?
import?
See, Ayo, the truth is we are not being told the truth. See, there are certain things wrong in this country, and they are not coming out to tell us. People, and when it happens like this, people, it's open for its kind of insinuations, and that is what is happening now. I mean, there are certain things government didn't do well there. You don't just come and deregulate. And I know how we're sitting there. We're
The
sitting
previous
here.
administration.
Listen, Ayo, I'm not limiting to any government. Yeah. Government is continuous. It's a continuum.
No, I want
Listen,
us to have a timeline.
Oh, Ayo,
Okay.
hold on. You're asking me again. I mean, the feelings, on the streets. How are people taking that? What he was trying to theorize it. I'm telling you what the people are feeling out there. They are not in tandem with what government is saying. The economy is biting harder because government took some missteps. They didn't do what they ought to have done. Listen, we had when this government battered, the first thing I saw was the Minister of State for Petroleum. He went around the country and he was telling the country that the refineries are now working. And a couple of months, people now started seeing that we're not working. Yesterday, it was reported that Kaduna refinery is going to, they're going to pump crude from Chad or some neighboring country to, and that tells you. So this is just under 1 year. This is about a year ago. So the truth is not being told. We didn't do some things right, and now importation. Nigeria the oil sector is an import-driven sector. All the commodities we consume in that particular sector is imported.
Everything.
Just tell me the percentage that is being refined here in Nigeria. Everything. So we can't dictate the price of. And when the minister and when the GMD and NPC was speaking yesterday, I smell a rat because this is how it starts. The marketers dictate the price. They are telling you now it's 150. It's just a matter of days. It's just a matter of days, and this will come to fall.
They just
You
withdraw.
cannot. You can. It's simple. It's simple. It's just a matter of days.
What's the prospect of going back
I'm just
to
scared.
subsidy regime? Because I'm sure.
Where are you going to fund it from?
You said the country is broke, so he's going to fund it. Who's going to
Because
fund?
if you are moving from 145 to 151, it's going to compound.
It's biting. That's
the
my
situation.
fear. That is my fear. And I just pray the government doesn't allow it to happen. Whatever they have to do, they have to do it.
Now you're talking.
Because people are suffering. And when you add this to the suffering already, then I don't know what Nigeria is going to be like in the next couple of days. Because it's something that's going to happen. It's
I want solutions now.
Okay.
Yeah, we've done enough of. We've seen it.
Doomsday
And-
scenario.
yeah. Okay. Yes. What can they put in place to save this situation?
Well, Hayo, for me, it's that was why I said it's multi-layered, because if you're only looking at it from the oil sector, you miss the whole of the thing. The first thing you look at, one of the first things, they say they are still having trouble sourcing for forex, and what the government, for example, some days ago took a measure to ban foreign transfers close to about over $30 billion into the country.
Imagine.
A source of funding the FX market. You unbundle
So
that.
these are the solutions.
You unbundle that and you only give it to MoneyGram, Western Union, and one other one that presently they control about 20% of the market. And a lot of people don't even use them. A lot of people that transfer money from diaspora, they transfer directly from their banks or other people that give cheaper fees. So that's an opportunity of about 30. And we're not saying anybody that wants to run money transfer should come and establish an office in your country. Who does that? 2, we have also denied foreign portfolio investments. A lot of them have moved billions or trillions out of this country.
Of the system.
Foreign portfolio investments. And it's because of our instability of policies. One day, they even now, you are looking at, as at last week, you are looking at non-performing loans as of yesterday. They said they're going to write it off.
Yeah.
Before then, you even increased the interest rates on existing loans within a recession. In a recession, go and check Japan, go and check United Kingdom.
US.
In a recession, interest rates are crashed as far as 0. For you to boost what? Spend. Now you are saying, I'm just telling you how we are going to get cash into the system. Because people, in a recession, government ejects funds. And you also crash interest rates. So that why people can spend. If people can't spend, all these issues that we're saying we're looking for non-oil revenue, it will not come. Because right now, people don't even have anything to spend. The little they have, they are holding on to it. And when you don't spend on the economy, the government cannot earn money. So you are looking at how are you going to create the environment to allow the foreign, the funds from diaspora get back into the country. Now, CBN came out with a floating policy. It was not an holistic approach. They went out, they were not fully prepared, and it backfired. Why did I say it backfired? Because you did not deal with the element of supply. The element of supply was not dealt with, which means because that was why the rate kept on going. It kept on going because you have not dealt with the issue of the FPI, foreign direct investments as well. Everybody kept their fund, and the CBN governor went to the United States to lobby investors to come from. Most of them did not show up at the meeting because of this instability. So you need to address the issue of how you show up your foreign reserve.
Okay, I'm sure my producers will just put telephone lines so that we want to give you more time to hear your feedback on this and what you feel about this ding-dong in between the NNPC. Can you? Abigani? It's a serious thing.
It is.
And if you look at how Petroleum Motor Spirits, PMS, if you look at how attached it is to our economy, everything. Before now, we don't have the number of vehicles that we have on the road now. Before now, we don't have the number of generators. We have power problem. That means the demand, I don't know, is it 40 million liters per day? Our consumption rates.
It's very high.
Very high, and we don't have at least what we can use to gauge it.
We don't even have the statistics.
The statistic. So if it's 40 million liters, you see the number of people. If you are buying 5 vehicles, you will see the number of kegs that people want to go and buy to power because they don't have power supply in their homes. So that tells you that it drives a lot of things, even the small scale businesses all around.
It's the lubricants.
Yes.
If you allow me to use that
So
word.
if you are going to just have the price increase of 6 naira, 7 naira, 50 kobo added to the status quo,
already the full consequence of the 145 has not been felt. Kerosene is now 300% more than it was last year. Gas has moved up, cooking gas that is, has moved up from, for the minimum size, from 1,002 to 2,500. You are looking at hyperinflation at a level.
Bag of rice,
that
20,000.
bag of rice, of course, is
20,000.
So when you are looking at things that drive the economy, you must look at what we consume. And most of them are based on failure of government instructions-based elements. Because if that is not done, if there is lights, consumption will go down. If there are more buses, if there are rails, if there are metro lines, consumption of petrol will also go down. That's my problem with the black man. We keep looking at the symptoms. We don't look at the problem that it causes. Kenya right now is building 30,000 kilometers of rail. Uganda is starting zone, we finish it in 2 years. All over Africa, people have realized that emphasis on petroleum as a driving force element is no longer feasible. So they are going back to the basics. Build trains, build waterways, build light trains. And then, so automatically people will not have the sources.
okay, I'll come back to you. I have Daniel. Daniel is calling us from Abuja. Thank you for joining us, Daniel.
Gentlemen, it's nice speaking with you again.
All right, Daniel, go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, it's nice speaking with you guys.
It's
again.
nice
I
to
want
hear
make
from you,
contribution
Daniel.
With regards to, yeah, good evening, gentlemen. It's nice speaking with you guys again. And what I'm saying is that, what I'm saying is that I don't think it's the fault of this present administration with regards to what we are passing through. The economy of Nigeria.
Daniel, you know what? You just turn down the volume of your TV set, or you just step away from your monitor.
What I'm saying is that the administration of Jan Muhammadu Buhari is trying to see if he can be able to put us back to a good footing. Yes, I've already done that. The criminals that stole our money, let them return the money of Nigeria so that the economy can move forward. And if they are not willing to bring back this money, there's no way this economy will move. We are talking about foreign portfolio investment in Nigeria. Most of these white people, they are aware that the new sheriff in town will not allow them to come and carry money and move away. So there's no way you can look for them to come back. They won't come back. They are afraid of General Buhari because they know what Buhari can do. Most of them are collecting contracts without executing it properly, conniving with politicians, and they carry money and move away. I want you to do documentation on how much their own local contractors have been able to work for state government. Up to today, they have not paid them anything. I want the economy to move forward. Let the marketers increase well. I'm assuring you nobody will enter their filling station.
Thank you, Daniel.
I disagree.
Thank you for your contribution. Gani, you want to continue with your thoughts? Or you want to react to what Daniel just said?
He's doing the best he can to defend the indefensible. And that's the problem we have in this country. People applied for this job. It is not an hereditary element. It's not a kingdom. You have the solutions. That's why you contested. And you tell us you solve the problems for us. That's why we voted for you. You cannot come 1 year into the regime and tell us you have no idea.
And you can't solve the problem in just a year. You can't solve the
but you
problem.
must give us what we are asking for. Let me give you a specific example.
12 months.
It took the governor, the president, 6 months to appoint ministers. That means it took 6 months for people with money to know the direction of this government. Because people look at body language, not in the conventional Nigerian sense, but the quality of the person you are bringing is or pedigree. And this is what you can do for the system. So people held on to their money for 6 months. And then the government now come in place, set up structures that are not working.
What do you mean by structures that are not working?
I'll give you 2 examples. We assume that when the president comes in, the first thing he will do is reduce the cost of governance. It has remained the same.
That's debatable.
We still have all the guests.
No. Because the first thing he did was to streamline the number of ministries and parastatals that we have. And you can't still tell me that.
You still have the same employees working in those parastatals.
Now they've not sacked anybody. They are removing ghost workers.
The number of ministers reduced substantively.
Reduced? We have Minister of State and ministers.
No,
Junior ministers.
not in all. Not all.
How many ministers do we used to have?
We used to have 46 ministers. What do we have now? What do we have?
And see, Ayo, have you finished?
Go.
See, Ayo, the truth is this: we're not here to chastise the present government. But what you are going to put here, what you're saying here, is what is going on. I mean, if something is not going on, we're going in the right direction. People should be able to say it.
All right.
Things are not working right now. Somebody must hear. People who are driving the economy of this country must listen. Okay, today, for instance, I saw the special advisor to the economic advisor to the president being sworn in today. Was he in office? I mean, see, we don't have, are you taking a phone call or not?
Lawrence from Lagos. Hello, Lawrence.
How are you, sir?
Very well, Lawrence.
Yeah, my contribution about this issue is that Benga Onitilo that is talking about the pricing of petroleum. I expect you people to do more research. I'm a player in this field, and I can tell you right now, the price from depot is 131 naira per liter, and the marketers are begging filling stations to come and buy. And I can mention some of the major marketers that people are not even patronize them. So before you argue about the price now, because when you leave everything to the major marketer or marketer pricing, they will rip off Nigeria. Go to Apapa, go and do your independent investigation. There is surplus PMS at Apapa now. Please.
Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you for your contribution. I'll quickly take this break. When we return, we'll talk more. Please don't go away. It's still Journalist Hangouts. Welcome back. It's still Journalist Hangout. We take more calls, gentlemen. So, way forward on all this. The GMD of NNPC told us, let's hold him by his word that I know and I'm sure that Mr. President will not allow this. It's bad enough. It was a very difficult decision for him to allow 145 naira per litre and the removal of subsidy. Because the first interview he had in office when he got there, he was saying that, look, he doesn't want something that would take negative effects on the masses. So this kite of 151, I don't know how to cast and bind marketers.
It's not going to fly.
You can't cast and bind marketers.
Let's first understand that marketers are primarily businessmen.
Yeah.
We must not miss that point, even though if we're talking in this regards. The last caller that spoke, I can validate what is actually said. Most fuel stations that sell about 33,000 liters in a day, it takes them more than a week to sell right now.
Now sell about 4 per day.
It takes them more
The purchasing power is not there.
Yeah, and that is why...
If you get to any filling station in Lagos now, you see people, they'll be telling, the attendant will be telling you, come.
Competition.
That is why it is critical at this junction where government needs to start creating activities that stimulate injection of funds into the economy. That is where, because you cannot isolate the petroleum product issue on its own and talk about pricing, solving all the problem. No, you are talking about an holistic approach to things. This is we are already in a recession. Whether the Minister of Finance said we are technically
in the middle of recession.
We are already in a recession. So we need governments spend a way out of a recession to stimulate activities and growth within the markets, and also create the enablement for people that have funds to spend, whether they are FPIs, whether they are FDIs, whether they are Nigerians in diaspora, for funds to move into the economy, not forgetting that we're a mono economy. And that is how you stimulate activity.
Let me just take Alhaji Adewumi from Benin Republic. Okay. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, good evening, please.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening.
Good evening, Alhaji Adewumi.
Please, I want to contribute to your program.
You have the floor.
Please, I want to beg you, the panel of journalists, you give us message of hope. Cool down the temper in Nigeria. When you are talking like this, you are making things, you are making people to panic. You see, you are a journalist. You should do a proper investigation before you come to the public to talk. When we are hearing this from you, you make us to feel somehow. It's not normal. We see if you are trying to people are listening. I'm not in Nigeria, but I listen to what's happening in Nigeria more than you people sitting down there. I'm sorry to say. Please try to give us hope and encourage people to follow the government. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you, Elijah Adewumi, for your contribution. Benga.
As I was saying earlier, just to corroborate on what he said, we must come to a place where we are real with ourselves, because if we don't own up and face the truth on the situation that we are faced with at the moment, we cannot begin to profile the right solutions on the way out, which are the things that we are doing on this panel. We are profiling solutions. The reality is staring at us in the face, and we cannot be in denial of it. We are talking about how government, the work of government is not to control, it is to regulate, to create the enablement. And if the president, at this time, I think it's a time the president needs to do an audit review of the performance of some of the ministers. And because there was a time I heard that the government is trying to collaborate with financial experts in the private sector to offer solutions and ideas, which is a welcome development. When America was under the recession, the Federal Reserve Bank called Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world. They called him for counsel, and he advised them on what to do. There's no big deal in that. Nobody has it all. So if they are incapacitated, if people lack the capacity on how to deliver, I think the president needs to make a tough decision as it stands and bring in the pool and a team of people that can help him. He needs to rejig his cabinet, or maybe some people are overtasked or is beyond their capacity. So the president needs to look at a pool or a team of people collaborating with the private sector. We're not going to get out of this rope without the involvement of the private sector.
Okay, Idris is calling us from Zaria in Kaduna State.
Hello.
Hello, Idris.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, Idris.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your insight and your analysis. I think there's a point of caution here. Like the gentleman from Benin Republic just mentioned, and other people. Hello?
Yes, Idris, you're on. Hello, Idris.
Yes. So, as I was saying, actually there is need for people to restrain their sentiments when they come to talk. Otherwise, they expose themselves. And that's exactly what you two are doing. Yeah? Because nobody owns any monopoly to any form of knowledge. And for an African country as big as Nigeria to be in the state it's not a big deal. Other economies face worse situation like this. But for people to come and sit down there and assume that they have some kind of superiority of intelligence, it's really telling us people's psyche, and it is not good for the image of TV.
Thank you, Idris. Thank you for your contribution, Idris. I'll go for another break. When we come back, we'll discuss more. Please don't go away. The increasing rate of kidnapping in Nigeria is alarming. It has become very worrisome to both citizens and foreigners. Like wildfire, kidnappers have widened the scope of their operations beyond the creeks of Niger Delta to other parts of the country, and both the rich and the poor have become vulnerable. Kidnapping is on the increase in Lagos State as residents, especially those in the coastal communities, are unsafe. For instance, in some parts of Ikorodu in Lagos State, residents have been vacating their homes to live elsewhere. That Ikorodu hotspot. Not too long ago, Oba Goriola Oseni was kidnapped from his palace by gunmen in Iba, who killed one of his guards and shot at his wife. He has since been released after ransom was paid, allegedly paid, Worried by the rising wave of kidnapping, Lagos State government has taken the measures to curb this menace. Governor Ambode, in a meeting held in Lagos yesterday, said houses and hotels used for kidnapping and other criminal activities will be confiscated. He also said there will be no longer be hiding place for criminal elements. And when caught, they will be made to face the full wrath of the law. When will this apparently lucrative business of kidnapping stop? I'm sure it's part of the symptom of what we've been discussing earlier. Tony, biting economy, kidnappers are on the prowl, and the increase rising. It seems to be the most lucrative
business outside government.
Crime now.
Kidnapping started. It started, remember. The
it
period
has,
when
it has,
Niger Delta, kidnapping,
it has
and all that.
So
now, but before you know it, it started extending into other parts of Nigeria.
Southeast, 2 kids.
So no longer it's no longer expert rates, but now Nigerians. We're not descended on ourselves.
I understand.
I
understand. Even cultists, local cultists around, they kidnap for 15,000, 20,000.
I was going
right now.
And they will escort the person to the ATM.
The kid is getting bad, and I like the approach the Lagos State government is about to take. Some states have started doing it.
Anambra State, Imo State,
Abia State. They will demolish the house. Any house where a kidnapper victim has been kept, once it's detected, once it's investigated and actually confirmed, they will bring that house down. The investment, whoever is involved, everybody. So it's a way of curtailing. And I think in Delta State, I think the legislature arrived at the law. Capital punishment. But I don't know why some governors cannot sign it. We need to use anything we can do to get this thing. Otherwise, it's coming close to us because you can't say nobody. Anybody, it can be anybody tomorrow. So I just pray, like the one they did in Iba is strange.
Sacrilegious.
Picking up a traditional ruler. So we have in Delta State, they picked up a traditional ruler in Delta State, Anyoche North, Anyoche South, and they killed him in Obuluku, and he was eventually killed in the process. So I think government needs to. It's not something we're going to speculate over. We need to wake up. Otherwise, anybody is a potential victim.
I think the government.
All right, to give our viewers more insight into this, let's watch this report.
2 of the kidnappers have been arrested, and I here for everybody to see.
Yes, now that we received the brief, I know there are questions from
Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General, and we thought the clip, the very short clip you saw, those were the kidnappers of Oba Goriola Oseni, and they were trying to explain how these guys were apprehended. And from what we gathered, these are just the guys at the lower layer, the front guys. They said they've taken off.
They are not the kingpin. I think the governor is doing the right thing, and it is things that we really look forward to. Incidentally, Lagos has some of the best policemen Nigeria can boast of right now. Fatai Osheni, of course, is a well-known detective, and the young man handling the arrest, Tunji Disu, is also well-respected and is working extremely hard to make a difference. So with that team and the governor's resolve, I think we're going to get results fairly soon.
funding of RRS.
I know
it has
that
been
one is
top-notch.
massive. It's massive.
Any local government
And
now,
the
you
level
see
of-
RRF cars,
Everywhere. Not
vehicles,
only
the
everywhere. All
APC,
nooks and
Even
crannies
you
in
know-
Lagos, yeah.
the bike, the
The
motorbikes.
bike, the plane, the what do you call it now?
boat.
The
Yeah,
camera
yeah.
angle. The young
And
man
the
is
water-
doing
water- and the
fantastically well.
maritime,
And they have boats. And then the reaction time is very fast. Because something happened somewhere in Okpebi, and they called them under 10 minutes they were there. About 16 of their vehicles.
I think it's
That's
RRS is like a model in
they are the
Nigeria
model now for things
because
to
at the initial stage when Governor Ambode just got there, you know, a lot of all these criminals they came into Lagos.
That's expected
and
after every
they
election.
Made,
After election, you have criminals who are
they
no
make
longer
quick
useful
gains,
to politics.
the traffic everywhere and
He
everything.
reacted very
So
well.
after the massive investment into RRS, you know, this is what we are talking about when we talk about is like a mini state police.
It is a state
because
More or less.
Yes, more or less because the RRS guys, look at them. They have bulletproof jackets. They are well dressed, more equipped. They are different from the conventional policemen you see on the street.
outside
And the only
Lagos,
thing
yeah.
that is missing, which I'm sure the governor or whoever gives the power should do, is the marine thing.
Yes,
marine police,
I think,
yeah, for
but I think
something
that
at
is
that level.
capital intensive.
RRS has,
the
they
gunboats.
have a
But
marine.
I think governor
air
gave
boat.
out some.
They have one gunboat.
They have one gunboat,
It's
but
not
they
that
need
it's
more.
I feel more still needs to be done because you have security is always linked to poverty and unemployment. You cannot have one without the other.
Yeah.
If you're investing so much in security, you must also deal with the issue of unemployment. Unemployment rate is quite high, poverty quite high. And when people see affluence all over the place, like you said, these ones are just the front guys. It's like a syndicate. And the sad part is people keep paying ransom, which is a major concern.
Major incentive.
Yeah,
for
it's,
them to
it's
continue.
also a major concern that people are saying
It makes the trade lucrative.
it makes it not lucrative, which means at the end of the day, these people always get
Yeah, they
away.
part with something.
And it strengthens their resolve
To do
further
more, yeah.
to do more. So I believe the capacity in terms of numbers of the policemen also needs to be increased as well. You also need to start looking at how to
I was
push.
told that in the whole of Lagos we have 35,000 policemen.
It's not enough.
And that's the highest number in any
We
state.
Highest than
we
other
need
states,
to
yeah.
start pushing. I think this is the high time the governors of states need to start pushing their rep in the National Assembly for this
state
thing of the
police.
state police. It's high time we start pushing for it.
That's the reality.
It's critical so that the response time can be cut shorter and funding can be made more readily available because we need to get past the one of always having to get the IG.
I have a call from the United Kingdom. Igwe is calling us from London. Thank you for joining us, Igwe. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Igwe.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us all the way from the UK.
Yeah.
Go ahead with your contribution.
Actually, let me commend your program first of all because I'm impressed with your panel. All right. I've not been joining your program because I thought your program probably would be biased, but I'm happy with. I've seen some people criticizing your panel, but I'm happy with your panel. Okay.
Thank you.
Then I just want to say about kidnapping. What I think is that the people who are ruling Nigeria should set a good example first. Because I have seen a place like Agust State, where I am from, I have seen military men killing people there, especially in Aba. There was an incident that took place in National High School where the protesters were having a prayer session.
Igwe, we are talking about kidnapping here. We are talking about spate of kidnapping in Nigeria here, not IPOB or whatever.
A government that obeys law. You need to have security agents that are not committing crime. Because when you have people in power committing crime, then what example have you set for the other people? Kidnapping is crime. It's criminal. Okay? You can't separate criminal activity. They are all the same. So what I'm telling you is that those in power at every level of government, state, local government, at the federal level, they have to set good example. Okay, they have to obey our laws so that the people at the level who are kidnapping people for money, all right, can see that it is wrong to do that. That's my contribution. Those in power ought to set good example. Okay? That's what I want to say.
Thank you, Igwe.
It's about leadership.
Thank you, Igwe. Thank you for watching all the way from the United Kingdom, in London.
So,
exactly.
I just to add to what I was saying earlier, it's rather strange that you have a country where police have barracks. That's one of the major things that reinforces crime. You can't have a nation of police lives on a barrack. No, police are supposed to live in communities, in the midst of the people. Whoever passed those bills for that to happen, I think it's high time.
Those days.
For those days, we need to reject that.
I don't think the barrack can even contain them again.
Yeah.
There was a drop force from their name.
Yeah.
But
If
no.
If the police start living in communities in the midst of people, we can gather more intelligence.
Yeah.
It puts more fear into the hearts of the people because we have a street that has about 10 policemen living there before you can commit crime.
Yeah, correct.
So I think we need to also look at that. It's very critical. We need to dismantle that logic of having police live on barracks. They must stay in the midst of the people.
It's a civil thing.
It's a civil thing. And that also helps to checkmate crime to a large extent. Because everywhere you talk, for example, where in Isheri, I know one of the top police RRS guys stays somewhere in Isheri. Nobody dares mess around in that area. Because they know the presence of patrol vehicles and all, nobody there mess around. So those things send also shivers down the so we need to really look at that. It's critical as well as we move on in nation building.
Yeah, we must get to the point where we have regional police. We have people who speak the language of the people. And then
Regional or state police or community
personally,
police?
as far as
A combination of all.
This structure is not working.
The structure is not working.
Because the person that doesn't speak my language, I cannot trust him enough to give him intelligence. Because I just assume he's going to come as an oppressor. So we need to come back to bare tax. Look at the resolutions that we can work with. The first thing, of course, is return people to where they are more efficient. Return them where their languages are spoken.
Yeah.
I don't care whether you are an indigene. As long as you can speak the language in that environment, you should be in that environment. That's the only way to get results. And unless they start doing that, you are going to go around in circles and come back here next year with the same level of problems.
And also we need to really fund our police force.
Seriously.
Yeah.
The RRS template is key.
No. The RRS template is not enough.
Yeah,
You know why RRS template is not enough? More like they cannot recruit more except the federal government.
No,
that's the
they
problem.
don't control them.
And
they don't control them.
Until they
I
can
don't
control them, it would have been better. We can see the state government.
I think it's a cost.
Presently, we have
to the police force.
a bit over 300,000 policemen. We should be having close to about 3 million policemen manning Nigeria.
So that's the problem.
The average of the UN is 1 to 17 people.
We are 1 to 566.
And the man who is doing it cannot look at everybody. And don't forget, 1/4 of them are carrying bags for wives of politicians.
I think that's another area to look at.
The country is under-policed, and we need to look into it seriously. I think recently they recruited over.
They've not recruited yet.
No, they were in the
And
process.
And already there are problems with that.
You can imagine
People
how many
already
people
complaining.
You can imagine how many people that applied, and then the portal went
Even
down.
the ones that are there are not even
Let me take my
well
last caller. Patrick is calling us from Ikeja. Hello, Patrick.
Yeah, good evening, Ayo.
Good evening, Patrick.
Okay, thank you. I just want to appreciate your program right now.
Thank you, Patrick.
And I'm glad about the work you are doing in the studio. And I would want to say that the previous callers who called to criticize, I didn't think that is necessary because everybody in the panel doesn't have to share the same view. I believe that the views are balanced and the views are precise. And the gentleman who is sitting right beside you, I think you should give him more time to air his view because he seems to be speaking from the heart and he seems to be talking on behalf of those Nigerians who are on the streets. Because the people
That's Tony Waji.
they need to hear this thing properly.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you for your contribution. And we'll give the floor to Tony Waji now. And Tony Waji can just give me from the masses, hear your view.
That was the previous topic, not this one. We've gone beyond that topic. Although we can't go back to that topic. But we know what's going on in the street, and really, government needs to sit up and listen to the yearnings of the people. Yeah. There's suffering, there's hardship. And I mean, the earlier we start this problem, the better, because we have just 3 years to go. And even 3 years, we inch still. Yeah, how about
maybe we have 18 months.
Yeah. No, we have 36 months.
So that tells you that really, we pray for we pray that things get better. We pray for the government But we, at the same time, if they are not doing something wrong, we should be able to tell them. That's just it. Yeah. On this issue of police kidnapping, I just pray that the state government can step up. There was a report, I think one reporter with NTH Channel 7, that's some years back, was kidnapped somewhere close to Akpongo. That's about 3 years ago. Till today, nobody, the story died like that. The guy went, the car was left there, the guy disappeared. Till today, yeah. Till today, nothing was, it's been heard about it. So it's if we have to nip it quickly, and hardly to anything that needs to be done, just need to,
something
must
is
be
going
applied.
on in the riverine areas that we are not really.
Just as he said, that the maritime department of the Nigerian police needs, because Lagos is surrounded by water, and then recently, like this Korodu invasion recently, is always happening at riverine areas, So it tells you that emphasis should be shifted, needs to be focused there right now. On the ground level.
I gathered by boat.
That will be taking your final stake.
To get by boat to get to Bayelsa or all those river areas, it takes about 35 minutes by boat, by speedboat, going through the coastal lines. Yeah, that's why they are more harnessing that to do all the hills they are doing, because it took even the intervention of the military the last time for some of these things to be resolved, to be dislodged, which shows that how well we have not funded our police force, how well we have not remunerated these guys, how well we have not trained them, how well we don't even have enough manpower to ensure they can deliver. If not for the issue if not that we have RRS in Lagos, I wonder what Lagos would have been like. Also, I think the Lagos state government should also take the step the same way the Edo state government are taking strong capital punishment, get the state of assembly, push for a bill that will bring strong worded capital punishment on anybody that goes into the act of kidnapping or any of such nefarious crime, while they go on with their own security drive. I think that's very important. And when they begin to take people and make examples of them, we send that message to them.
Remember during the military regime, they used to take armed robbers to their hometown. No, they take them to their compound to show the people that your son is a thief. Before they kill, they were killing them right in front of the houses. That should come back. Because if you are caught,
serious capital punishment.
You should take it to your father's house.
We should be careful of violation of human rights.
Violation of human rights for
in China.
The person who was kidnapped.
I don't think
who is violating
in Saudi Arabia. Is anybody mentioning saying it?
The world is turning against capital
Saudi Arabia is a partner of America, but they go ahead and deal with
kidnapping, anything that's
commit all those things.
We
So we must stop playing all these Western things.
We must tame it seriously.
Was it like the way
they are kidnapping children, kids, school children, and we're saying we should be human rights.
And people pay.
Human rights.
That's the tragedy.
Tony, thank you. As always. Thank you, Gani. I enjoyed myself. Thank you, Binga. And that's a wrap on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. Watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11, and you can also catch up with Journalist Hangout on YouTube. That is youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcontinental.tv. I'm Ayodele Ozubaku. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.